Hello, and welcome to the latest in the series of Tajari Industry Briefings. I'm Marwa Abu Rahma, and I will be taking you through how to maximize sourcing value in your tendering processes. The agenda for the next 15 minutes or so is as follows: a short recap on the previous webinars and the scenario, defining what is value, we're looking at the various tools available and when it's appropriate to use them, and then leave you with some takeaways. So, to recap, this is the third briefing in the series. Previously, we were walked through discovering opportunities through spend analysis by Majda Bilghar and then managing the supplier community with Henry Shepard. The common category discussed in the briefings to date is facilities management, and we will attempt to retain that link as we move on to the tendering phase and beyond. So we're looking at maximizing sourcing value. But what is value? Obviously, the first thing that springs to mind to most procurement professionals is savings, reducing the cost of the goods or services being procured. But there are other types of value that can be addressed in the sourcing process. Encouraging and increasing supplier innovation can contribute to saving, but it can also enable other efficiencies in the chain, allowing you to gain a competitive advantage with new products and technologies. Running a procurement can be a lengthy, time-consuming, and resource-heavy process. We'll look at maximizing value by reducing the manual effort and timescales for a procurement. Improving relationships can bring both hard and soft benefits. Improved communications and transparency with suppliers will help reduce supply chain costs, give you greater access to innovation, and help you reduce risks. Internally, improved relationships will mean less resistance, greater transparency when assessing opportunities, particularly important in facilities management. The facilities management category can be particularly complex and is generally split into two main areas: hard FM, covering your air conditioning, electrical testing, buildings maintenance service, to name just a few, and soft facilities management, which can include security, office services, cleaning services, and fleet management, for example. Some of the key challenges faced across FM are a range of subcategories and complexity, a variety of specifications that can be very hard to compare, variable pricing, many regulatory and legislation considerations. Often there's a wide stakeholder group including procurement, HR, facilities management, labor, organizations, etc., often not commoditized and needs to be specified and evaluated more carefully. Finally, there's often a lack of understanding between procurement and supply and the facilities management industry. We'll look at how we can address some of these issues with different procurement tools. Most procurement category strategies will involve some sort of supply market segmentation, and many of you will be familiar with a four-box model similar to this. This model is useful as it will help you understand which areas have adequate competition, complex supply chains, and high-spend areas. From this, you can start to look at which tools are appropriate to use. The first tool we'll look at is the electronic request for quote or proposal, often referred to as an ERFX, which can be suitable for all areas of spend and is probably the most common. Like ERFX, e-auctions are also a widely known tool, and although in some cases they have been cast in a negative light, usually due to some questionable practices. Managed correctly, however, they continue to drive significant value. E-auctions are most appropriate in the upper left quadrant, where spend is high and supply complexity is low. Collaborative sourcing optimization is a powerful tool that builds on ERFX technology to allow optimized analysis of complex category award scenarios. This is most appropriate for highly complex supply chains, where there are many variables and factors in play in the high spend, high risk areas. We hope to give you more detail on these specific tools and how they can be used to maximize sourcing value. An ERFX is a request for information, quotation, or proposal that takes place in an online environment. It is appropriate for any procurement, and there are multiple benefits from conducting it online. By using pre-built system templates, you can drive compliance and ensure consistency throughout your organization. Automatic alerts can be used to remind both buyers and suppliers of upcoming deadlines and changes to the process. Web forms, auto-scoring, and auto-exclusion. These system forms streamline the process of building, populating, and evaluating an ERFX. Supplier can then input responses in a structured format directly in the system. Closed questions can be automatically scored, and if a supplier provides a response that is unacceptable, they will be automatically flagged for exclusion. This reduces the time spent and risk of human error evaluating, since you only evaluate valid responses. Online evaluation and scenario analysis. These online tools mean that evaluations can be conducted simultaneously by multiple evaluators, and detailed scenario analysis of commercial elements can be presented on screen with no need to analyze commercial details offline. Everything is kept within the system. Having this centralized repository for all tendering activity facilitates governance and auditability. So how can you maximize the value driven by ERFX? First, good planning. Too many organizations who are currently using ERFX tools are actually setting up the RFX on the system as the last task before publishing. This often results in not having adequate time to optimize the setup and realize a lot of the benefits. Clear, concise instruction and communication. This goes for the whole process, from communication, pre-publication, through to guidance on timescales, and even down to question-response guidance. Well thought out questionnaires allow you to benefit from the auto-score and auto-exclusions just discussed. Inviting appropriate suppliers and efficiently qualifying them will reduce the administrative burden when evaluating. Okay, so referring back to our 4-box model and moving on to e-auctions. As mentioned, e-auctions are most appropriate in the upper left quadrant, where spend is high and supply complexity is low. However, this is not a hard and fast rule. For those of you new to auctions, they are events where suppliers submit bids responding to competition in real time over the internet, facilitating for instances where parties are geographically distant. Many factors determine an e-auction's success, but we have identified the 3 key factors. The first, attractive spend. In order to achieve meaningful savings, the spend needs to be there. The second factor is the supplier community. You need motivated suppliers who are going to compete in order to achieve the savings you want. The third is that you have products or services that are comparable to ensure that the bidders are bidding like for like in the auction. Where this isn't possible, the structure of the event can be used to ensure all bidders are on a level playing field by using weightings, for example. There are numerous benefits of auctions. A large number of bids are dealt with in a small time period, which means that it's a much faster way of obtaining the true market value. They offer greater transparency for the buyers who have visibility of this market price, but also for suppliers, and as such, they are a great tool for generating competition. And the suppliers can also benefit since they are able to submit multiple bids throughout the duration and gain market feedback. So, how do you run successful auctions? Committing to first place drives competition within your supply base, and you will achieve the very best price of your product or service. Qualifying the suppliers that take part in your auction is key. If you're not willing to award the business to them, they should not be taking part. The auction model you choose plays a very important role and can impact your savings. There are many auction types available: English, Dutch, weighted, Japanese. Research the model best suited for a particular category to achieve the best results. Finally, as mentioned, there are some auction horror stories out there, and stakeholders may be reluctant to running them. By starting with high-value, low-risk categories, you can achieve significant savings to demonstrate the benefits of auctions. The last tool we'll be discussing today is collaborative sourcing optimization, which is viewed as an entire different approach to sourcing and is valuable in areas where both ERFX and e-auctions fail to generate the value desired. Many buying organizations struggle to achieve a real benefit step change in certain categories. And when we look at this category strategy, it often consists solely of running an annual RFP with the same supplier and the same specifications. This brings to mind the words of the late Henry Ford: "If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got." So what is collaborative sourcing optimization? In short, it's a powerful tool that builds on ERFX technology to allow efficient analysis of complex category award scenarios. This is most appropriate for large spend categories where there is high interest from multiple stakeholders, complex supply chains where there are many variables and factors in play, and potential risk is perceived as high. Many organizations find that these particular strategic categories require a highly specialized approach to sourcing. The greater the strategic impact of the category, the greater the demand for collaborative sourcing optimization, since traditional sourcing methods have little or no impact. Traditional sourcing is reliant on competition and focuses on squeezing supplier margins. Collaborative sourcing promotes synergy between buyers and suppliers, creating win-win relationships. So, aside from creating these win-win relationships with suppliers, what other benefits are there from collaborative sourcing optimization? It allows you to manage multiple subcategories in one event. It also allows you to collect alternative specifications to those you have currently, and compare, and where possible, harmonize these. There's also the opportunity to compare insourcing and outsourcing. Finally, it engages numerous stakeholders across the category or categories. The key to successful events can be split into three. Number 1, strategy development and category preparation. Benefit from experience with best practices, ensure high quality data used, reduce supplier assumptions and hedging, ensure a complete and implementable solution. Number 2, RFP design, content and execution. Here, you need to go beyond price and look at what and how you are buying currently. Work at truly understanding your supplier's capabilities as they relate to your needs, and make it as easy as possible for the suppliers to work with you now and in the future. Number 3, proposal analysis, award and contracting. This is where you can drive inefficiency out of the extended supply chain and really understand the cost and operational impact of all business decisions. By considering capacity, capital expenditures, and other resources dynamically, you can quickly and efficiently generate award scenarios you may never have considered using other methods. Having discussed our three main tools, let's see if we've been able to realize the value we have defined at the outset. The auction tool is a clear winner at helping us deliver savings and get to the true market price. Collaborative sourcing optimization can help identify savings when other options have been exhausted. Innovation is driven through collaborative sourcing optimization, which allows us to work with suppliers to identify the most cost-effective supply chain. Improving how we run basic ERFX by using templates and automatic features can drive simple process efficiencies. And by encouraging supplier input, focusing on reduced cost rather than reduced margin, and by engaging with internal stakeholders to gather input upfront, you build trust and improve relationships. So, in summary, value can be generated using a number of different techniques. Most are general procurement best practice and apply regardless of tools and technology. Others are related to how to approach and utilize procurement technology. So our core takeaways from today's session should be: link your approach to your category strategy. Your strategy planning will highlight which areas are suitable for each method. By selecting the appropriate tools and processes for the specific category and market situation, significant value can be generated. Utilize technology. Offline processes, however well embedded, can limit the overall value that can be generated in a procurement. A variety of sourcing tools are available to facilitate the procurement process, helping automate the process and increasing process efficiency to free up procurement professionals to carry out more strategic activities. Market conditions and supply market are constantly changing. If you are using online tools already, don't assume that the approach that was right a year ago is still suitable today. Strive to continually review and optimize your processes to ensure that you are maximizing sourcing value. My name is Marwa Abu Rahma. Please feel free to contact me for any questions. Thank you for listening.